Okay. Okay, so you asked how we got them to do this. Whoops. Okay. Here's the depot. Hey there. Okay, so some people ask how we train the kitties to be in public the way they are all the time. And I can't take a ton of credit for it. I really have to give credit to the older cats. But Cornbread, who is 16, when we got him and Applejack when they were kittens, and I did get kittens because I knew that they would have to travel with us and we would need to train them. When we had the accounting and bookkeeping business in Los Angeles, one of our clients was a company that trained dogs for film and television. And so Bonnie would go into their facility sometimes to do the bookkeeping, and she learned a little bit from the trainers about training dogs, which was incredibly helpful, and also about training cats. What the trainers there said was that dogs basically have the mentality of a 3 to 4 year old, depending on the breed. But they respond to commands, and they need constant reminding. Like, you work with them every day, you know, and then they're of course, you know, excellent. I love dogs too. I just don't have a lifestyle for it. Cats though have a little bit higher mentality, closer to maybe a 7 or 8 year old, and so they have negotiating skills. And so with the cats, you have to constantly negotiate. You don't command them to do anything, but if there's something in it for them, they'll pretty much do, you know, play along. And mine are certainly proof. They play along with all my bullshit all the time. But the reason they do is because they know there's something in it for them. They love to go on these excursions, so it's not at all hard to bribe them to do that. But how do you get them to stay in the stroller? So that's where the older cats come in. So years ago, when we first got Courtney and Jack, I knew they would have to be leash trained. And when they were kittens, of course, that's impossible because you can't get a harness that tiny, and not for a cat. And so we had leashes for them, but we also had the little backpack carriers. And of course, they quickly outgrew those. But the backpacks were really great. They had wheels on them. And we lived that year for a year in the Smoky Mountains, which is of course a very touristy area. And we just took them out on little excursions. So we would take them at first, like, to trips to the grocery store. And I'd run in, and of course they couldn't go to the grocery store, but I'd get them some treats. And so there was cookies in it for them. So they love that. So quick trips. They're a little scared at first, but usually with cats, I have found they have to do it twice. The first time they're afraid, the second time they've got it figured out and they want to go. So then we would take them to there was a cat store in town, which always welcomed them. And then we would take them out to public events, like to the parades and stuff, so they would get used to people and kids and noise and all of that. And when they were kittens, we did this in their backpack carriers. And then gradually we got them to go on leashes, and they would go to, you know, things to do, you know, in the Smoky Mountains. So, you know, they'd enjoy the parks and the streams and stuff like that. They were really, really good. And for the most part, Jack was really a prankster. And so, you know, leashes on cats are voluntary. There is not a harness anywhere that will hold a cat. And so they learned all kinds of quick maneuvers to get out of their harness, but they'd never go far. They were just, you know, trying to engage us in play. So that was cool. And then when we go on these work trips, there's a lot of work involved, and the kitties do have to come. We can leave them in hotels a lot of times, and we do. But, you know, there's days that we're just in motion and we're in and out of stores when we're in motion. And so, you know, we had to get the stroller, which is incredibly helpful. They really, really love it. They feel like they have their own car, just like if you get a toddler, their own little car to drive around. Absolutely love it. It's freedom. Humans love cars, kitties love cars. So that's cool. Corny loves the top down. And so punishment is to get the top put up. So if they try to get out, or if they do anything to misbehave, the top goes up. And he doesn't like that. So that's very helpful too. They love people, they love attention. Okay, I have to do these videos in parts because we're calling on stores, so I kind of do them in between. But the main thing there is just really so helpful is just finding things that they like to do. So you know, it's all about negotiation. So if you will go in the store and help me work and be nice, then I will take you, like today, we took them to Precious Moments Chapel to walk around, or to drive their car around, their kitty car. Butterbean's absolute favorite thing is to drive the kitty car. It's all their favorite thing. Butterbean especially, it's really her favorite thing, but they all really love it. Courtney loves the top down. So if we will just go walk them around a park or a square or anywhere fun for them to see trees and flowers. They love to talk to people. They love to get tickles and hugs from all the strangers. They love it for people to talk to them. And so that's a really great thing. They're fascinated by some stores. The boutiques we go in, they're, you know, that's work. But like we will sometimes if I can't do anything else, I'll find a Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby is really great. They let them come in always, and they are fascinated by absolutely everything in there. So that's always a good little excursion. The pet stores they're a little bit afraid of because they had a veterinarian at the pet store for a while that was not so good. So they don't really like to go in there at all. But little parks, you know, anything fun like that, they will go anywhere. And they're amazingly smart about knowing when they have to sneak into a hotel. They travel all the time, so they kind of know the drill. They're real smart about staying in the car while we get the stroller loaded, because I have a small car, so they kind of know where to sit to be out of the way, and stuff like that. So, but basically we just look for fun treats and outings for them. If we ever stop to eat, we always stop and eat at a patio restaurant, and they always get something special to eat too. I always get the little bowls of kind of stew food for them that they just love. So that's kind of their going out treat. But basically, cats are negotiation, you know, so you just want to find something like, hey, if you'll do this for me, I'll do that for you. Their leashes are entirely voluntary. They were leash trained until I had so many of them. And I think they still would be, but they're really voluntary. They're never even on very tight. You know, if you've ever had a cat on a leash, they just pop them like nothing flat. So, and they never get out of them. And a lot of times they're in the stroller and they're not even leashed in. They're just, you know, they want to go. So that's the main thing. You know, it's really no different than a toddler. You know, you just have to kind of bribe them and, you know, negotiate and say, if you'll do this for me, I'll do that for you. So anyway, I cannot take any credit. What I can say though, is that if you get the older ones trained, the younger ones, because they already have things they like to do, and they already know the drill. They already know that, you know, hey, if we do this, then we get to do that, and that is incredibly helpful. So like the youngest ones, I can only credit Cornbread and Sugar Britches for training Butterbean and Tumbleweed how to do all these things we do, because really they do it all. Okay, so that is the skinny on that.